Now, this is exciting because version 6.5 confirmed banners and reruns like Nefer, Llama, and even Mavuika just around the corner, and new units like Nicole, Lohan, and Sandrone coming soon. It's finally time we sit down and analyze everything to make a proper priority list for what's best for our accounts. So, starting with the next new unit, Linnea. Her situation is honestly pretty weird. Even though she's a lunar support and sub-DPS, launching with the hype of joining the existing lunar trio, Llama, Anfa, and Columbina, she's not exactly on the same level in terms of flexibility, mainly because she's Geo. Compared to someone like Anna, who is Electro and can be played alongside Dendro, Electro, and Hydro units, or Llama, who fits into multiple reaction archetypes, Linnea looks more like a dedicated Geo DPS support. For those who still haven't seen her full kit breakdown, make sure you check that video on the channel. Her buffs are slightly lower compared to C6 Eoluga, but her off-field damage and healing make up for it. She gives around a 25 to 30k DPS increase for Zembai and around 30k DPS for older Geo units. For older characters, the Llama and Columbina duo is looking like the best option for someone like Navia or Noelle, making them viable in the meta again. You can also add Aino or Farina as the fourth slot. Geo as an element has completely changed recently, starting with Duran, then Columbina, Lunar Crystallize, and now Llama, giving Geo far more options than before. Earlier, Shadowlin was the only viable Geo support, and she couldn't even be played in a proper mono Geo team. Outside of Geo, Llama can be played with someone like Nuvalet alongside Columbina in a Lunar Crystallized setup, similar to how you would use Anfa or Llama. But beyond that, she doesn't have many universal options. Her Elemental Mastery buff, which is around 120 EM, isn't that impressive, especially compared to a 4-star like Sucrose, and she doesn't really provide any other universal buffs, which restricts her mostly to Geo DPS teams. You can actually save up to 25% on latest banners through LootBar. Personally, I lost my 50/50 and I just bought the 6,480 Genesis Crystals pack for $76 instead of $100. That's an instant $24 saved. Not only the discount, but the top-up process couldn't be easier. I entered my UID, selected my server, and within 2 minutes, the crystals arrived in my account. Plus, the double bonus for first-time purchases has been refreshed with the anniversary, so you can take advantage of that too. With over 100,000 satisfied users with 5-star rating, it's really my go-to choice for both personal top-ups. And here's a bonus. New users get an extra 10% discount, while returning users can save up to 5%. You can find the link in the description below or in pinned comments, so don't miss out. Now, before ranking her, let's talk about other upcoming units. Skirk and Escaffier are also joining next patch. This is still a strong duo in the meta, and their premium team can reach around 125k DPS, but it's nowhere near the power of the no-wade cryo duos, which raises the question, is it even worth pulling them? Especially if you already own one of them. If you ask me, with Llama, Nefer, and Linnea joining soon, who technically provide much more value in raw DPS numbers, it's always better to complete your Zembai duo or your Nefer duo instead of investing into Skirk and Escaffier. And if you own neither Skirk nor Escaffier, completely skipping them is still a valid option, especially considering the current state of cryo in the meta. Now, as said earlier, Nefer and Llama are the second strongest duo with Columbina, right after Llama and Zembai. If you already have one part of that duo, you should prioritize finishing it. And if you have none, Llama alone is still an incredible option. She can fulfill all your Dendro needs. She's one of the best Hyperbloom and Burgeon supports. She works with Columbina in Lunar Bloom setups. She can hold Deepwood and Burning teams with Kenich. She can run TTDS while providing 25% Dendro resistant shred. She also provides Hydro resistant shred, which allows her to fit into Nuvalet teams as well. That makes her extremely versatile and very F2P friendly. Hyperbloom is still one of the best teams any F2P account can build, and Llama is arguably the best unit for that archetype. Right now, she's in the same pull value tier as Anfa, Columbina, and Mavuika. We'll make a clear tier list at the end, but before that, if you're planning to top up, don't forget to use LootBar. They're offering massive discounts and keep dropping new offers regularly. You can use my link below. You can also choose self-top-up if the UID and server method is restricted in your region. That makes it an extremely safe option. Now, coming back to the topic, we're also getting Mavuika in version 6.6. Talking about her current situation, she's still the second best DPS in the game. What makes her insanely strong is her versatility. Her melt team leeches around 60k DPS, which ranks among the strongest teams in the game. She can also be played in Overload with Chevros and Janssen, in Vaporize with Freena, or even in Mono Pyro with Duran, depending on the enemy and situation. You can even use her as a support, since she scales with damage bonus buffs. Even after 1 year since her release, she remains one of the strongest characters in the entire game. Alongside her, we'll also be getting Nicole, a pyro support and shielder. Based on the latest confirmations, she will not require 3 or 4 Hexair members to unlock her full buff potential, which already makes her a better pull option. She will still have the standard 2 Hexair passive requirement. There are mainly 2 team directions for Nicole. One is pairing her with Duran, forming a strong pyro wheelchair duo for DPS units that benefit from attack buffs and resistance shred with off-field pyro application. This can benefit teams like Navia, Mono Pyro, Mavuika, Arlecchino, Varessa Overload, and many more. The second team archetype would be a Hexe-focused setup where members buff each other, such as Razor, Klee, and Varka. Seeing how widely Pyro is used in the current meta, Nicole's value is looking very promising, especially considering that she will also be a shielder, removing your team's defensive needs entirely. We already made a dedicated video talking about this duo, so make sure you check that out. We will also be getting Lohan, but currently sources suggest he will be a cryopolar unit, which we'll discuss in another video. And we will also be getting Sandrone, an electro sub-DPS focused on superconduct, introducing a completely different reaction archetype built around an enhanced superconduct mechanic. So now, the main question is, which characters should we focus on to improve our accounts from the current version up to version 6.7? On average, we're expected to get around 300 more pulls, which means roughly 4 more 5-star characters. Even accounting for 50-50 losses, most players should realistically secure at least 2 guaranteed 5 stars. So, let's build a proper priority list. For players who already own one half of a duo between Nefer, Llama, Mavuika, Citlali, or Zembai with Linnea, it is strongly recommended to complete that duo first. These are currently the strongest teams in the game. Now, talking about Skirk, even if you already own one half of the Skirk and Escaffier duo, it is not the best option right now to invest into completing it. Other duos simply provide more damage and more flexibility. And even if you pull a strong standalone unit like Llama, Anfa, or Linnea, they will generally provide more overall value than Skirk and Escaffier, who are mostly designed to work together in one specific team. I'm not saying they're bad, they are still strong and can clear content, but the opportunity cost right now is just higher. After completing your main duos, you have 2 major options. First option, invest into Nicole and Duran, forming a strong Pyro core duo for your Arlecchino, Mavuika, or even Varka teams. Second option, invest into Sandrone, a brand new character, introducing a new archetype. If you already own Varka, then the decision becomes easier. Nicole and Duran will likely be the stronger and safer choice. But if you don't own Varka and your Mavuika already has a solid team, you can consider skipping Nicole and instead investing into Sandrone. She may have better synergy with future region units or even receive a dedicated DPS partner later. Just make sure you complete your current core teams before pulling into new archetypes. Otherwise, you might end up stuck with half-built teams and no fully optimized setup. Keep in mind, these banners are still months away, and everything is subject to change. We might not even get Sandrone exactly as expected. If you want the full banner roadmap breakdown, make sure you check the dedicated video on the channel. I hope this helped you decide your best priority path. Also, make sure to check out LootBar for 35% discounts. Bye!